Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be making how to make assorted donuts from scratch, and we're going to be making a lot of them. So let's get started. I've also recently taught how you can make pizza from scratch as well as pasta from scratch. So you can check those out by clicking on the links in the description. But in this video, we're going to be making very good donuts. Like I've made a lot of donuts in past, but these are one of the best donuts ever. If you want the eggless recipe for this, you can actually click on the link in the description for the eggless version. We start by adding our all-purpose flour in a mixing bowl. This is nothing but Maida. Into this I'll also add some caster sugar. One side of the bowl I'm going to add some instant yeast, and on the other side I'm going to add some salt. Make sure to add the salt and yeast on opposite ends because salt can actually kill your yeast, so never add them together. Now we'll stir this using a dough whisk. You can totally use your hands or a spatula or a fork, whatever you have. This is just a fancy tool for baking. You don't need to invest in one. But if you have it, it's really easy to clean. Now we'll add all of our milk into this, as well as one egg. It's a very simple recipe and requires few ingredients. We'll stir this together until this forms a shaggy dough. You can see that with just a few seconds of mixing, the dough has started to come together. But you just want to mix everything until it's homogeneously combined. The dough is looking homogeneous now. At this stage, you can just knead this until it's completely done. After the dough is kneaded like this, you can go ahead and start adding about a tablespoon of butter at a time and then knead it again. So at this stage, you can just start going in with your hand again. If you have a stand mixer, feel free to use that. You can follow my previous baking videos such as my pizza video to see how to knead the dough. As you can see, the butter that I've added is almost incorporated now. I'll add a tablespoon of more butter in this. Now we'll knead it again. It seems a little messy and difficult at first, but as you proceed with this, it's actually super fun and it turns out pretty easy as well. If you feel that the dough is too sticky in the beginning of your kneading, you can totally go ahead and add 1 or 2 tablespoons of extra maida in it, and it will totally turn out just fine. And you can use this folding method that I'm using here, which is very easy to knead. And once again, we'll be folding and mixing or pinching and mixing. As you can see, the dough looks like this after it's perfectly kneaded, and I can easily shape it into a ball without it sticking to my fingers. It's a little difficult to handle this dough because there's a lot of fat in it, but you want to knead it until you can see your fingers through the dough like this. You can just ball this up and put it in a bowl and then cover this with cling film or any other lid and refrigerate overnight. It's the next day and you can see that the dough has doubled in volume. I'm now going to degas it by punching out all the air. Then we just carefully take it out on a counter or any parchment lined sheet like I am doing here. Now we can roll this using a rolling pin until it's around ½ inch thick. This part is honestly super fun, and you can totally do this with any kind of a rolling pin, or if you have a dough sheeter or something like that, and you can roll it out up to ½ inch as I mentioned, or even as thin as 1/4 inch if you want to make a thinner version of these. But I prefer really thick donuts, and that's why I'm using these 3½ inch cookie cutters as well to make big size donuts, but you can totally use a smaller one to make smaller donuts or donut bites or anything like that. I'm going to cut out circles first, and then we can make our donut holes using a smaller cookie cutter like this one. If you don't have a cookie cutter, feel free to use a sharp katori or a bowl just to cut out the donut, and there are also other things called as donut cutters if you have those. If you want to make bombolinis, just make sure to not cut them in the middle, just cut the outer circle and that's enough. Here I'm making half donuts and half bombolinis, but feel free to make either of them. If you just want all of them to be bombolinis, that's also fine, or else all of them can be donuts too. Make sure to remove the dough carefully and then you can roll it out again and make more donuts out of it. You don't need to throw that away. Make sure to rest this dough for at least 20 minutes before rolling, otherwise it will shrink back a lot, and then just carefully separate the donuts and cut them out in separate parchment papers. I like to cut the parchment paper in squares beforehand so that I can easily fry the donuts one by one by simply lifting the parchment paper. And you can do that too, but that's completely optional. I'm going to place them on a baking sheet so that they are easier to lift and transfer later on. We cover this with some cling film, but you can also use a damp cloth and let them rise for at least 40 to 50 minutes or until they're doubled in size, and then you can fry them until golden brown. Till our donuts are proving, we can just make a simple glaze, which is basically just a ganache. I'm using a double boiler setup for this. So we'll take a saucepan which has a little bit of water in it. It should be around 1 or 2 centimeters. It should not touch the bowl directly, and then just place your bowl directly on top of that. Into the bowl, we are going to add in 100 grams of cream. We are going to add all of our chopped up milk chocolate in this. We'll give that a stir and let the chocolate melt completely. You can do this procedure directly in a microwave as well if you do not have a double boiler setup, or if you don't want to use one, because microwave is an easier way to go. As you can see, the chocolate is almost melted now, but we're going to continue until all of it is melted, and then we'll just turn off the flame and let it come to room temperature. And with that, our ganache is ready. We can now let it chill completely, or at least bring it to room temperature before glazing.
1 hour has passed and you can see my donuts have doubled in volume and they look really fluffy. And in the meanwhile, I've also preheated my oil and prepared a frying sheet. What that means is just the baking sheet, and it has a cooling rack over top of that, and the frying temperature should be about 175 to 180 degrees Celsius for the optimum level of color, and also to avoid extra absorption of oil. So make sure to just fry between that range if possible, and then carefully add your donuts in the oil and then just remove the parchment paper just as shown. After about 30 to 40 seconds, your donut should be done on one side. Then you can use a spider to just turn it upside down and then fry it on the other side. This is a little lighter color. For the next batch, I'm going to make sure to have a deeper color than that. But doesn't that color look amazing right now? This is the perfect golden brown color that I am looking for. And now I'm going to carefully remove these from the oil using the spider. Make sure to strain away all the excess oil, and then you can add in your next batch. This kind of a frying station just helps to drain the excess oil, and then you can carefully keep it on the side, and then you can add in your next ones. Make sure that the oil is still hot enough. If it's not too hot, or if it's hotter than you want, the donuts will absorb extra oil. Similarly, we can now fry our bombolinis as well, and just flip them midway so that you get even golden brown color on both the sides. Then just strain the excess oil and then repeat with all the donuts. For making assorted donuts, you can add various toppings and even change the flavor of the ganache. But for this kind of a donut, I'm just going to add some sprinkles on top. But you can totally change that and add anything like chocolate chips, Oreo biscuits, or for bombolinis, you can just add some Nutella in the center and then just put this in some caster sugar so that it's well coated on both the sides and it has a signature bombolini look with that really nice light colored line in the middle and that golden color on the edges. Just make sure to do this step while the donuts are still warm so that the caster sugar really sticks well to the donuts, and then you can just play around with the flavors and get multiple flavor options like this Lotus Biscoff donut, and instead you can also just drizzle some Lotus Biscoff spread here along with the biscuits. Similarly, you can just decorate your other donuts with other kinds of toppings such as this mixed chocolate chip one. So I'm going to add white chocolate chips as well as dark chocolate chips on top of this, and you can just play around with the toppings, but my favorite one has to be Bombolini. So I'm really excited to show you how that one turns out. But before I show you that, you can also add some rainbow sprinkles on your donut. I think it's safe to agree that all of us have a soft corner for Bombolinis, but just look at how fluffy it turns out and it's looking iconic. And just look at all of that Nutella just spilling out of the donut. It's super fluffy and ultra bubbly. So just try this recipe out for the Bombolinis, if not for the donuts. And did I mention, instead of using Lotus Biscoff biscuits, you can also use Oreo biscuits to make double chocolate donuts.
Let's try this. That's just wow, guys. It's really amazing. It's so soft and fluffy. Maza aa gaya. And with that, our donuts are absolutely ready. As you can see, we were able to make around 8 to 9 donuts with this recipe, and that's a lot of it because we just used one egg. And as I told you earlier, you can totally check out the eggless recipe by clicking on the link in the description below. And thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you try this out and let me know how they turn out. Thanks a lot.